this is Stuart Smith from STUARTIZM Designs. We are going to go over just different theming on some rooms. I got 5 different projects here. I got Blake Farms, Armada, Michigan, Emily's Closet, South Dakota, Sparkles Fun Center in Hiram, Georgia, and 2 rooms at a Field of Screams site in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The first room is coming up is the briefing room for Sparkles Laser Tag Arena, and it was done in multiple walls, but we're just going to show you the main wall. And the difference between this and what sometimes we normally do is I painted up the whole wall, and whatever blacks were there I added in and really made this a very, very bright room, so the customers could get their gear on to go play laser tag and see something really cool. And this guy here that we're creating is being fed by the machine, going on a sci-fi type level. There was concern for the age appropriateness of what I was creating, and tried to explain to the customer that laser tag is nothing more than a large video game. Rather than popping quarters in or sitting with a gob of drool in front of you at the PlayStation, you're actually running around grabbing some sweat, shooting each other, and so we wanted to add that level of excitement to that particular area. We were painting on cinder block, so again, just like in the party room video, we want to make sure that whatever paints they use, now luckily they did not use gloss, they used semi-gloss on it, and normally that won't give you too many problems. Because of it being cement sometimes too, there's a little bit of a drying issue. It just holds the cold, and it was brutality outside in Georgia, and they had the air conditioning going like there was no tomorrow on the inside, to the point where we actually had them shut it off in the arena because it was posing some drying issues. So I had already gone through the laser tag arena, and this was just one of the last things that had to be done was painting the briefing room. And also there is a facade on the outside that we had to complete the last night we were there. So enjoy the transitions on this one and see how we put this bad boy together, and we'll go on to the next section. Section here, which is the pipe room, Field of Screams, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And these are the bad boys that burned me in the last video. No drying issues at this place. Horribly hot, humid, which is almost perfect for painting. We primed all the pipes using just the regular exterior primer. They had already painted it black, and so we put several coats on there, and then several coats of the UV paint. This thing was going to be dismantled and moved to another location, so Gene is a fantastic welder and made sure these things weren't going anywhere, but still we didn't want to get chipped up as they moved it from point A to point B. Something else in this room, we kept the monsters piped like the actual solid pipes, but we painted a coat of blue across just on the black without primer behind it, and the day glow will go directly against the black without primer. And then we did ghosted black pipes and wires along with our hard image, and then we ghosted out those pipes using some blues and greens, to the point where I also sat there and took some of the red from the solid image and blended it into those blues, so it looks like their gigantic pock marks are just spitting off the wall. That made the whole room makes sense. Now this was supposed to be a clown maze, and you see that we are obviously not going with the clown maze theme in a clown maze, but it works out well to transition. And if we sit there and go the route of saying not a clown maze but a freak show, then you can do whatever you want at the site and it will all make sense. So I just encourage you guys to skip out on the whole, oh, it's a clown, oh, I'm scared. I think, I've done enough clown mazes to choke a horse, so we try to convince that it's a freak show. Okay, freak show. Remember that freak show. This room was maybe 12 by 12, and not a big deal. Matter of fact, I was working on this room along with the room behind it and the room in front of it, just to get things. This is the last room of the site at Field of Screams, and Gene and Jim had built in basically little quasi doors, and they were only like a ½ inch embedded and indented into the walls. So we just took an opportunity to sit there and put a whole bunch of really nice monsters in there. Did some ghosted brickwork along with some of the webbing, but more of the brickwork. And wherever these people turned, there was something really cool to see before they exited the maze. This was in a particular area. Gene had skylights, so working during the day was a pain, but this was in a particular area where they were shielded out, and the black lights were able to do their job for me, and worked out pretty nice. A half a day's work to get this bad boy done, and the end result was fantastic. Plenty of things, and what I like to do is, it doesn't matter where the client looks, they're everywhere, and small things, big things, especially when clients might be right up onto the walls. As you well notice, I like my detail, and sometimes the detail is really sparked off by just the simplistic bricks. I didn't need to go through and make them look all grainy or anything. You also can take black in your spray gun and spritz the ghosted bricks, give them a slight amount of texture. That works out nice. Also, you'll see in here that there's one of the little, I don't know, plastic little drapes between rooms, shock flaps, or what I want to call them, fear flaps, and the Day-Glo paint sticks to that stuff really nice. Not a lot of rub off, and because we spritzed it, nobody's going to see the damage anyways. Alright, we're at Blake Orchards. I'd say it's Blake Farms, but Blake Orchard sounds good. And this is the Freaky Farm. And we have a skull room with some completed skulls, but no ghosting on the walls. And then the corresponding room is killer apples and pumpkins, sticking kind of with a farm theme with a twist. I want you guys to see how, having a finished product and then having the ghosting come around, it really sparks things forward. He wanted skulls at the beginning, and then moving into some farm stuff. So, of course, we have the killer fruit. The next room down the hallway, we have some killer tractors and apple trees gone wild, Stewie style. So you can just see some of the transitions here, how we build up a room, and then at the end of it, you'll see how we correspond the floor with everything. Worked out really nice. finally, the last room. This is Emily's Closet in South Dakota. Buck Burdick, great guy. You would never know that this project was completed in a 43-foot trailer. This was 3 trailers put together. Because of the space that Buck had, he was concerned about where to put it. And so I suggested he put them together and make it room by room, and where they'd have to go in and out of each trailer, and it worked out fantastic. I mean, for the passerby or somebody who goes in, they would never know that you were in a trailer. But this is a back room, and worked out really nice. This was this transition area that moved from one car to the other. And we just sat there and had a really good time just placing random images. And of course, being Emily's nightmare, Emily's closet, she gets sucked into the closet. I could do whatever I wanted to, and to the customer it make full sense. So when we have a blank title like that, you know, Emily's Closet, oh no, you know, it's like, it's perfect for just going wild on the walls, and no customer would question, and they all had an excellent time. So thanks a lot for watching, folks, and I really appreciate your time. Subscribe, and hey, look, we'll be going on to the next videos. Get something painted there, folks. God bless.